This little intro is just a sneak peek of what is yet to come later on in this video. Before we get this video started though, I want to thank my patrons. Without you going out here, capturing this video, just capturing this history in the making would not be possible without my patrons and without people's support. So thank you to Henry and Mary as well as Richard. If anyone wants to send me anything, I will pop my P.O. box up on the screen right now in the middle of this awesome shot that I got flying through the water coming over the top of the Sanford spillways once again. It has been a very busy time out here at the dams as well in my own personal life. We are just about ready to move into our new dream home. We just got done installing a huge over 2-acre irrigation system. We got a trencher from One Stop Rental here in Sanford. So if you haven't, make sure you check out One Stop Rental. They pretty much have everything that you would need, and again are located right here on M30 here in Sanford. These videos are going to show the progression of redirecting this water over the top of the spillways. It took about 3 days from this point that you're currently seeing until the 20th when they finally capped the dike and all of the water was flowing over the top of the spillway. So I'm going to show these kind of similar shots between these 3 days. So again, this was on the 18th. You could see there was still a decent amount of water flowing here over the Sanford Fall areas, but just there in the background you can see the dike starting to take shape. Looks like they were moving the riprap that was located in front of the dam where they were working removing the spillways right on the other side of the sill. So they moved all that riprap to this location, and looks like they're trying to force it through a narrow channel in the middle. That is the area where they finally end up filling in on the final day. So this was the following day, so on the 19th. You can see there's probably a little bit less water coming through the Sanford Falls area. You can kind of see the water line, the water level on the clay here in the rapids becoming a little bit more defined with these fall areas. So you can see the dike completely filled in, just the little tiny area right here in the middle. They did have a little bit of riprap already down in the center area, but this is where there was just a little bit of water still coming through the dike. So most of the water was already going over the top of the Sanford Dam spillways. And now on the 20th, so this was the morning that they actually went ahead and filled in the rest of that dike area. Looks like there's a lot of barn swallows. I'm flying underneath the temporary bridge facing to the north with the drone, and you can see there is no longer any water movement coming over the top of the Sanford Fall area. So you could really see the unique features that were carved into our bedrock here, the clay, glacial till, whatever you want to call it. And now in the background you can see this awesome shot of the sunrise coming up. This was on a Saturday. The guys from Fisher Contracting were out here working, getting this work completed, and it did lead to some awesome photos that I was able to capture this morning. So you can see the dike has already been filled in. There's just a little bit of water seeping through it, so the excavator was working on packing a little bit of that clay material into the riprap to stop any of that seepage from coming through on the dike. And looking at the clay down here, there is just a couple of pools. They kind of look like tidal ocean pools. There was a couple fish in them, but they did go ahead and work to transport and move those over into the river downstream. So again, this is back on the 18th, overhead shot to the north of the dam. You can see the spillways here, water just starting to go over the top of the new concrete weir spillways. You can see how much progress has been made on the steel sheet pile cutoff wall and the riprap that is going on each side of this wall. Present day of me filming this voiceover, they actually almost have the steel sheet pile cutoff wall completely installed. So it's all the way over there to the west at this point, already through the breach area. I know there's some common answers and questions that people might have. Is this riprap on each side of the sheet pile going to be removed when the earthen embankment is built back up, when Sanford Lake is refilled during the construction phase? And the answer to that is yes, that riprap will need to be removed, and then fill will need to be brought in on each side of that steel sheet pile wall. But for now, the erosion is working, the riprap is working to mitigate against any erosion that would be happening on each side of that steel sheet pile cutoff wall. Great shot of Sanford Falls, now flying the other direction, kind of flying towards the south. You can see the water exiting the fall area and going underneath the temporary bridge. I may include a little bit of raw video at the end of this video as usual. Depends if I run out of talking points, but usually there is a lot of things to cover in this videos, and I can usually keep on talking, describing a few things that I'm noticing. So you can see the park area back there. I will not go into too much detail on the park area in this video, but the next update video that I do here at Sanford, I will show all the progress that is happening back there. They're actually working on pouring some of the concrete sidewalks. So if you haven't yet, make sure you go ahead and check out the Sanford Park live camera. That is a 24/7 live feed that you can go ahead and be able to watch what's going on whenever you'd like. There's also one located here on Sanford Dam if you want to see what things look like at present day. And I do also want to mention that I do have enough funds raised to go ahead and get one of these cameras also installed up there on Secord Dam. Just going through the last little bit of logistics, have all the components in, have everything tested, so we should be ready to go ahead and get that installed. We just need to get a pole installed up there and internet and power, so working with the Four Lakes Task Force to get that stuff in place, and then that camera will go live. Might be a couple people that ask about that. It's not a vibratory hammer. That was actually more of like a pile driver. So they go ahead and they use the vibratory hammer to first get these steel sheet piles part of the way down into the ground, and then they swap over to more of this pile driver to drive the steel sheet pile the rest of the way down into the glacial till bedrock hard pan here. And you can kind of see the elevations that they're driving these down to. About 29 to 30 feet is where they hit that area. So again, this is kind of showing where they were forming the dike. A lot of that riprap that is coming from in front of the sill on Sanford Dam. And this excavator over here was working, just shoring up the roadway a little bit more as a lot of these rock trucks were traveling on it, and it was deteriorating a little bit. It's pretty amazing. I just got done filming out there this week. I was able to walk right through this area where this water is flowing from the Tittabawassee River just before they went ahead and installed the sheet pile across where this breach occurred in the Sanford embankment. So you can see the grade that they were putting, making this before they were installing the steel sheet pile. And I'm going to just say this because I know someone will ask in the questions down below of what equipment I'm using. If you're interested in the equipment that I'm using to film these videos, make sure you check out the description down below. I have links to Amazon. They're Amazon affiliate links. So if you go ahead, you click on them, you will be redirected over to Amazon's website. And if you purchase anything after clicking that link within 24 hours, they actually do kick a small portion of the proceeds back to the channel. It doesn't even need to be the actual item that I'm linked to. It could be anything that you are looking at purchasing on Amazon's website. Here's a great shot of the excavator going ahead, loading up some of that mixed riprap material, like I was saying, that was being removed from in front of the sill area on the south side of the Sanford Dam sill. And they were using these rock trucks to bring it over here and dump it both on the breach. You can also see they were dumping this a little bit of each side of the breach area, as well as using it to form up that dike. It's a great shot flying down where that steel sheet pile has now been installed, and you can actually see the survey stakes where that steel sheet pile was being lined up to be ran in a straight line where the Sanford earthen embankment used to be and will be built once again. Going to cover a couple more questions and answers that I typically get asked. Most common one is Sanford Lake going to be refilled? So right now, all this work that is going on is just interim stabilization. So it's really to stop erosion. And this is because most of the funds right now are coming from the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation Service. So they're kind of trying to create a marriage, a best design to actually eliminate the erosion occurring here. Once the water was redirected back over the top of Sanford Spillway, a lot of erosion stopped because Sanford Falls that was no longer eroding in that area. But also they're trying to incorporate this interim stabilization design into the final construction. There will need to be sheet pile inside of this earthen embankment when the lake is refilled. So that is part of this interim stabilization, is adding in that sheet pile, that they're able to use some of those funds and incorporate this into the final design. Great planning on many people's parts, and there are many facets of design that have went into coming up with this design. I just got an email from the Four Lakes Task Force that it looks like they're looking at getting the 60% design done here on the Sanford Dam very soon, and then they will be working on finalizing the 100% design, and then construction will begin here in the coming years. But as of now, this interim stabilization is just about ready to wrap up here at the end of October. There's been a lot of progress and more yet to come. This is a great shot here. You can see the duckbill here kind of acting as a little bit of a check valve to allow the water that's underneath this dam to come through the weep holes that were drilled in kind of the foundation underneath the Sanford Dam spillways. So I'm not sure if I even said it yet, is yes, the plan is that Sanford Lake will be refilled. And let me look at the date for that. The estimated lake return date is in 2025. A couple numbers here. The cost to repair is around $70.8 million, and the estimated annual capital assessment is $115 to $460. So that's just a little bit of the numbers. All of these are available on the Four Lakes Task Force website. But yeah, like I said, there's been a ton of progress here. There's been a ton of progress up there on Secord Dam. I will be posting a video very soon showing what's going on up there. I was also up there this week. They were going ahead and removing a little bit of the powerhouse, the hydro equipment. That is another common question, is will hydropower be in these dams' future? And unfortunately, to many people's dismay, the answer is no. Hydropower would just extend the deadlines, the timelines for filling these lakes back up very significantly, and would increase the cost of rebuilding these dams very significantly as well. These were just a few factors that were taken into account, but even here on Sanford Dam, that I believe had 6 turbines, in today's equivalence of how much power generation that would be, it would only equate to 2 wind turbines. So 2 wind turbines cost a heck of a lot less to build than rebuilding this dam with hydropower. So that is why hydropower is not in any of these dams' future. Great shot out there of the lake bed. We'll be showing a little bit more of that video as well. But that has been completely cleaned up out there. There is no longer any cottonwood willow trees growing at a significant height. They've been brush hogged, bush hogged down to a lot lower level, and a lot of the stumps have been removed off the lake bed as well. All of that video footage I've been showing has been from the 18th, and this is the start of the second day on the 19th. You can kind of tell looking at the dike area, it's been reinforced quite a bit with that clay. The off-road dump trucks also going ahead, dumping some riprap down there, just kind of staging the area for the next morning. I was out here in the afternoon. They were going to potentially fill in this dike area this afternoon, but instead made the call to do it the next morning, which I am happy about because it led to some really awesome shots, as I have already mentioned. But I'm not going to show too much video from this day. I will include the raw video at the end of this video of a lot of this from this day, but it really isn't too much different from the previous day, just a little bit more reinforcing here in the dike area. Now we are going to get into the video that everyone has been waiting for. The reason that you're actually watching this video is closing in this dike area and redirecting the final last bit of water over the top of the Sanford spillways. So again, this is the third day I was out here filming. It is bright and early in the morning. I think I got out here at around 7 o'clock. That's about the time that work began, filling in the dike area. You kind of see what's going on here. There's someone waiting in the bulldozer. The off-road dump truck is still going ahead, bringing in some more clay, and the excavator is going ahead and bailing in some of that riprap just to close off that dike, the final last little bit. I may include a little bit more of this raw video at the end of this video because I have a ton of footage from this morning as well. I will point out a few things here and there. You may actually kind of keep an eye on the Sanford Fall area. You'll be able to see the water volume going over the falls get less and less as this dike is closed off more and more. So now you can see the excavator going ahead, moving some of that clay. So they kind of attack this from both sides. The excavator going ahead, putting that riprap over on the right hand side of the screen, closing in the dike from that area. And the bulldozer started shoving the clay from the left hand side. And once they got close enough, they met in the middle and closed off the last little bit of this dike area. So you can see the lake bed off there in the background. This was before they cleaned up a lot of the brush out there. You can see a little bit on the left hand side of the screen of the area that they had already brush hogged. But if you take a look at the Sanford Dam live camera, you'll be able to see how nice and leveled it is out there. No more of that cottonwood willow trees growing out there. A couple more years, those trees would not have been manageable. They were already about 10 to 15 feet at this point, so kind of the last year that these would be able to be removed easily just by brush hogging them down. All right, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit, and I'm just going to let this video play through, and you can watch this dike be closed off a little bit further, and I will add commentary when I think it is needed. So you can see at this point they are getting very close to closing off the dike the rest of the way. Just performing the last maneuver, getting that excavator a little bit closer to stop up the water flowing around the dike. Bulldozer staged on the left hand side to go ahead and push that clay across to stop it up as well. And there you go. There you have it. The dike has been finally closed up. You can definitely notice that there is a lot of water still flowing through the riprap that the dike is made out of, though. So now this excavator is just going to work shoving that clay, packing it in to the holes of the riprap a little bit further to stop the seepage that is occurring. It looks like the biggest area that there was seepage is right underneath that excavator, but it really did not take long to stop up the water the rest of the way. I'm going to be quiet for a little bit longer. Again, let this video play through. You can kind of watch the process of closing off this dike further, and I'll add a little bit more narration at the end. So this final bucket the excavator is going ahead and dumping on the dike right now was the final one that went ahead and sealed off the dike the rest of the way, sealed off that seepage that was occurring through the riprap, and you can see that last little bit of water going through the Sanford Fall areas, trickling down. Some people might wonder why I stop and do kind of jump cuts in the middle of this video, and that's actually when I go ahead and take photos of what's occurring here on site. So I post those photos on my Patreon account. Another way that people can go ahead and support me is to become a member over there, and you get exclusive first look access at some of these events that are happening. I usually post about a week early before I'm done editing these videos. They do take a very long time to edit, so photos are very easy to take and upload. So if you want to go ahead and become a member, you get that first look access up there. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to take the drone all the way up to 400 feet in altitude, do a final look over the site from up at this height, with the water, the Tittabawassee River, completely sealed off, no longer going through the breach area in the Sanford earthen embankment. No, some people think I say urban embankment. I tried to enunciate that a little bit better. It is a earthen embankment, and seeing the Tittabawassee River flowing over the top of the Sanford Dam spillways once again. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let this video play through the rest of the way. This is some of that raw video that I told you about at the beginning of this video that I was able to capture, showing the progress from the first couple days of closing off the dike area and redirecting the Tittabawassee River, all of the water over the top of the Sanford Dam spillways. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you go down below, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to catch all of my future updates both on this dam as well as all the other dams. Secord and Smallwood Dam are currently beginning construction. Those lakes will be refilling in the coming years, so amazing progress that we are just about ready to start to see. And if anyone has any questions or comments, make sure you leave those down below as well. And until the next one, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below. As always, I just want to give a massive thanks to the people who support me on Patreon. Never underestimate the value of your contribution to keeping this channel going. Thank you.